Welcome to another FormationData beta test demo. Today we're going to be taking a look at the system and which modules may be useful to people involved in the property industry. This could be estate agents, letting agents, deal sourcers or investors. So the first module we're going to take a look at is formation companies. This pulls all of its information directly from Companies House. If we use the SIC code 68100, which is buying and selling of own real estate, and click search, it's going to show us every single property company that buys and sells properties launched in the UK in the last 24 hours. And as you can see, there's 86. We can narrow this down by location. So if we say Birmingham, and that's 5. We can actually sort it in the order of most recently launched. And if we open up these 5 companies and take a look at one of the records and see what we get. So we get a little bit of information about the company, like how many mortgages they have, etc. Now, these have only launched in the last 24 hours, so they've got no active data, but I'll show you some historical searches and show you an advanced report, how we can get a lot more information on them. So you will notice that we've got some search buttons down here based on social media and the information that we find at Companies House. A default search will simply search their name, but an enhanced search will take more information such as their location. A few more, but the name and location is the main one. So if we click on LinkedIn here, you can see that we found the director there. Now we can drop them a message, add them to our network, congratulate them on launching Precision IMMO UK Limited, and see if they need any help in sourcing a property if you're a deal sourcer or an estate agent, or let's have a look. They've actually got another SIC code up here that they're planning on being a landlord, so letting the property. So if you're a lettings agent, it would be useful to contact them as well. We normally get around 30% of all directors matched with a profile. So there's another one there that we could congratulate on launching, see if there's any services we could offer. This one here. Okay, so we've got another one. It is generally about 30%. We've been lucky with those 3. And we have another search facility down here as well, so we can actually search the Facebook page. See if they've set up a Facebook page yet. So we've got ACE Estates. Let's take a look here. No, so there's not an exact match there. Let's try the second director there. Yeah, but the profile doesn't look too active, so it may be worth still connecting in with them, but with only one connection and no profile updates, might not be the most responsive there. But you can save them to CRM, so even if you're just making connection requests, save them to CRM, and you can come back and search them later. If you've added, say, 30 to CRM, and in a few days' time a couple start adding you back, you can go into your CRM list, search the director's name, and find out what company they're from. Again, a couple of old profiles. It's probably not worth, if they're a profile with no picture on and only 1 or 2 connections, it's probably not worth reaching out to those ones. Now, we can also do an advanced report, which will go search a lot more information at Companies House. It'll start reading mortgage charges, finding out addresses, things like that. It's best to do with a custom date search, so you could cover a much bigger area in time. Now you can search around 950 companies at a time on an advanced search, but we are looking to increase that. So if we have a look at this period here, again covering Birmingham, this is SIC code 68100, which is buying and selling of our own real estate. Between June 2020 and June 2021, there were 398 companies identified in our criteria. Let's have a look at ones with at least 1 mortgage. and we found 178 of those have at least one mortgage. So we're pushing up close to that 50% mark, which is pretty good. That's why it's really worth contacting the newly launched ones each day, because you know close to half of them are going to go on to purchase a property. So it's really good to get in contact with them right at the start of their property journey. If we take a look at some older records, we might be able to see a little bit more data. So this one has 3 mortgages. If we scroll down here, expand these, we've now got the property addresses, you know, and we can see they've got other SIC codes, so they actually let the properties as well as buying and selling. They got no satisfied mortgages, so you know they're fairly new and haven't sold any yet or satisfied any. So from a lettings agent point of view, very worth contacting, and from an estate agents and deal sourcing point of view, they are actively buying property. I mean, the last mortgage charge was on the 15th of May, so only a couple of months ago. So very, very worthwhile contacting them because they are actively buying properties. Might take a look at a couple more. Yeah, 10 properties here. Now remember, this was only a 1-year period from a couple of years back. So, you know, these guys have managed to obtain 10 properties in since March 21. So that's really, really impressive. Really, really impressive. Very, very worthwhile contacting these guys if you are a deal sourcer, or if you are an estate agent, or you know, although they haven't got it on their SIC code here for lettings, they've only actually sold or satisfied 1 mortgage, so it would still be worthwhile contacting them from a lettings agent as well. So they're 3 services that would be very, very ideal to contact these types of property companies. You can also find motivated sellers. Let's have a look at overdue accounts. So yeah. So there's a couple here. Now, generally what we've noticed when we've been using the platform, if people have got overdue accounts and they linger for quite a while, it's not long before they start to receive gazettes, as they have over here, and a good portion of them either go into administration or go into liquidation. Now, it's important that you deal with the director before it goes into liquidation, otherwise you're dealing with the insolvency practitioner who has to get the best price for the company. There might be some wiggle room, and they might be able to satisfy their creditors by dealing direct with you prior to it going to an insolvency practitioner. So there tends to be more wiggle room when it's in the hands of the directors. So although there's only 1 property here, it would be very, very worthwhile contacting them. That is 51 Hillside Drive, B42 1NY. What we can do is we can have a look at the type of property it is and some more information about it to see if it's worthwhile contacting them. Now, we are building that into a button on the actual address list, but this is a fairly new part of the system, B42 1NY. Let's take a look at that property, and I believe it was number 51. So this is a semi-detached property. EPCD, it just gives you some information about the area. Obviously, if it was a leasehold flat, it might not be of interest to some people. It's just more to take a look at the property and make sure it's the type of property that your estate agency has experience in selling, is good at selling, has a demand for, or if you're a deal sourcer and you have an investor looking specifically for semi-detached properties in that area, then it would be worth contacting. Now, it's odd that it says owner occupied as it's tenanted. That might just be some old data that we've pulled from the database there, or may be sort of a fairly fresh purchase and not been updated yet, but it would be worth finding out if they've still got tenants in situ, finding out what the situation is there, but certainly reaching them out to them if they've got accounts overdue. Another way to find people looking to sell their property is Formation Recommend. Now, it does pull all the information from Facebook, but it doesn't use any of Facebook's native location tagging. So if we type in estate agent and we type in, let's stick with Birmingham, recent posts. Can anyone recommend an estate agent that cover the Cannock area? Okay, so we've hit a little north of Birmingham there. Recommendation of estate agent, thank you. Redditch, so a little south of Birmingham there. B31, so in and around Birmingham, recommendations needed for an estate agents to sell a house in B31 area. Does anyone know for estate agents particularly focused on renting in the South Birmingham area? So again, these are ones that you won't typically find when you're just using, if you look down here to the left, the location manager or tagged locations within Facebook. Ours does not use that. We use a little bit of URL manipulation, but you tend to get larger results than if you was just using the Facebook's native location system. Another way is formation probate. So if we type in, let's use that same postcode, B42, I believe it was 1NY. Let's go for, I don't know, 50 properties and click search. This is going to bring up all the probate addresses in that postcode. You can set time radiuses and things as well. You could download those in a CSV file to, if you've got a letter generation system. We do have a letter generation system in parts of the system at the moment on our formation plannings module, but we are actually introducing that into every module we have. So pretty soon you'll be able to actually generate the letters within the platform itself, within this module itself. But as it stands at the moment, you'll be able to quickly come on once a week, once a month, and generate these probate addresses. If you're not too articulate with your wording, you can use Formation AI, give it a prompt, something like, please write a letter directed at the executor of a probate estate, letting them know we are an experienced estate agent and can handle the sale of their property. Please be mindful as it could be a loved one of the deceased. Generate. And this will help you generate the content for you. Always read it before you send it out. AI is fairly good at formulating content, but it does always need a human eye to read over it and make sure that you tweak anything that doesn't fall in line with your branding. But again, for deal sources and for estate agents, letters to probate properties works particularly well. And if you're in and around the area, hand-delivered letters has a much, much higher conversion rate as well. So, yep, a Formation AI can handle all of your content generation. Like I say, we do have a letter sending module within the system that we've tested with formation plannings. Let me just show you that real quick. And we're carrying across this letter generating system now that we've tested it with one module to all our modules. So let's type in extension, and say we want to write a letter to these ones. We just click generate letter. Once you've generated your letter, you can tweak it, amend it, and then click generate letters here, and they'll start downloading to your downloads folder or chosen folder for it. Again, we are carrying this across to the rest of the system, so you will be able to do print letters directly, generate and print letters directly from the system. So that's probably it for ones that would be useful to deal sources, letting agents, and estate agents. Just probably on the deal sources side, if you are looking to connect in with estate agents, let's use that same postcode again, B42 1NY, and we'll type in estate agent. We've got two types of searches. We've got default and advanced. If I just show you default search first, what this is going to do is going to search a radius and bring back all of the estate agents within the radius we set of that postcode. What we can also do is go back and do an advanced search, B42 1NY, estate agent. Now, on an advanced search, it is going to take slightly longer to generate, but what it does is when it pulls back the website, it will actually go visit every single website that it's pulling back, It will look for an email address. It will look for social media pages. So here you can see out of those 20 that we found, we've got 15 with email addresses. So if we click on that, it will just filter it down to the ones with email addresses. We can save that whole list to the CRM, or we can download it as a CSV and load it into our email messaging app or MailChimp or whatever you might use. You'll also see we've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all these social media icons coming up that you can actually start following them, and when they're publishing things on their own Facebook page, you'll be able to see if deals are coming up sooner. You'll be able to contact them via their website, contact them via email, and let them know that you're a deal sourcer looking for deals within the area if you have a particular investor looking for that area. So it's just a really, really good way to make contact with somebody, pull back those details, and either mass message or individually prospect via their contact forms to start building up relationships with estate agents in the area. And that's about it. We are only in beta, but we're working with quite a few people in the property industry already, and we've seen some pretty decent success stories in terms of purchasing and selling on the estate agent side. We have a discount code that will be in the description of this video, which is SAVE50, which will give you 50% off your first month subscription. There are no contracts, and you can cancel at any time. With that discount code, your first month will be £40, followed by £79.99 per month thereafter.